awesome day. I got a bunch done around the house and played some League, played some Smite, played some Disney Speedstorm. And here we are. It's time to hop in to game number 1 of Asgard Okami versus Feed for Speed. Yo, what's up, Ash? How you doing? Let me get this game set up, and we'll hop in to picks and bans of game number 1. Yo, what's good, Vectors? How you doing? All right, let's fix some things real quick. Get that up. Get our music up, Blue team. All right, let's take a look at game number 1 here. Picks and bans coming through for Asgard Okami. They banned away the Jingwei and the Hell. Not really surprised to see either of those bans. They've been popping off in the SPL. Jingwei, once you get through kind of the meta hunters, that's kind of where Jingwei falls. And if you're, looking at Jingwei and you're like, man, crit's meta, I don't want that god in my games either. Hell just got buffed this week. Now, just more damage output. Just feeling pretty good. Hebwa, able to delete people and take them out of the game. All those, you don't want to deal with them. Over on the other side for Feed for Speed, we have Aphrodite banned away along with the Thor and Vimana. All 3 of these picks have, actually, all 6 of these picks we saw played in the SPL just today. Aphrodite has been pretty much running it down. Got a nerf this week, taking away some of those protections and movement speed, but, overall still really, really good. Thor does Thor things. He dunks on you. It's not a fun time. Imagine if I'm Feed for Speed, I don't want to deal with 12 gauge. All pretty meta, all specific to their own reasoning here. Get the healers out, get that global ultimate out, and get rid of things that one-shot me. It's in, typical Smite bans. First pick here for Asgard Okami is going to be the Hercules. And Hercules is feeling pretty good in solo lane, has a lot of disrupt, can really just put it down on the carries. And, shove them into a wall, shove them back into the team, call it a day. Not too surprised to see Hercules picked up here. On the other side, though, we have a Terra and a Sharixx pickup. Terra has been kind of like floating this line of like, hey, she's really good, we should play her, or hey, there's a better priority pick. Obviously gives you healing, she has good CC, her ult really, really good. You don't have to worry about the knockup from the Hercules. All good bans here, or all good reasons to pick Terra. Also makes more sense of why you ban Jingwei, because you don't have to worry about your hunter dashing away from you when you're fighting it when there's a Herc. Sharixx recently buffed, now has that passive crit chance, has been going burr today. I'm sure you guys have seen it in casuals. I've seen the tweets. Oh my god, she only has, whatever percent crit chance, and she crit me twice at level 6, and I died. Boo-hoo. That's just the way of the road. And then an Odin pickup here for Feed for Speed. A little bit surprised to see that this early. There's no leaps right now for Asgard Okami, so maybe they're thinking, hey, this might get banned away. Let's go ahead and grab it now. That Odin Cage could do a lot here and force a Phantom Shell, possibly. As Asgard Okami pick up Yamoja and Kurnanos. Yamoja, we all know what she does. She heals. She throws up those walls and really just claps it in. Really good CC. Just absolutely disruptive. And it's just annoying across the board, whether it's in team fight or duo phase. And then Kurnanos, it doesn't matter that the boy gets nerfed. He just keeps on coming back for more, feeling really, really good in 10.4. We have a couple different builds. I know the meta build is mostly like Cal, Bloodforge, and then into that Dominance, or sorry, not Dominance, Charged Boomerang, Demon Blade, Dominance for some, Kins for others, sometimes Xe into Deathbringer. Gives you a couple options, but Kurnanos has not fallen by the wayside of yet, even with the nerfs. The bans for part 2 here are going to be Agni and Scylla banned away in the mid lane. Both those gods is really good at putting out artillery damage. Scylla able to reset off of kills. Just a great reason to get her out of there. On the side of Feed for Speed, they take away Sasano and Humbats here, really trying to limit what 12 gauge is going to be playing here in the jungle, and I don't really think that's going to matter. I mean, Sasano really good. Kind of surprised to see the Humbats here. I don't think Humbats is particularly great, and I'm really, truly wondering, are we going to see like a Giannis here from either team? Giannis has been played quite a bit this week in, maybe not so much in comp, but I've seen him in a lot of casuals after that recent buff. We are going to see the newest god to be able to be picked up here, and that is Martika Ross. And he is going to, you know, do the things that he does. I'm curious to see, are they going to go ability base here in duo, or is this a mid pick? We'll just have to kind of see here in a second, as, you know, the mage is still an option here for Feed for Speed. But on the side of Asgard Okami, they're going to hover this Yu Huang and decide if that's the pick they want to go with. You know, able to play pretty safely and do a good bit of damage here. I think it's a good pick. Yu Huang hasn't really fallen out of the meta, even with all the nerfs to mage items, and we have to remember there is a big change to pin this week in 10.4. But overall, Yu Huang is still good, still does all the same things, just maybe slightly less efficiently. But I mean, when I say slightly, we're talking like a 1-2% difference. It's nothing too crazy. But it's really Asgard Okami is thinking about here. What do they want to go in the jungle to not only deal with this Circuit, but you know, you can't do any knockups here for Terra, and she's gonna be able to provide that CC immunity to her teammates through an ultimate. What's the plan here? How do you deal with Martika Ross? What's a good way to deal with him post and during ult, with him having that Freya-like ult where you can just fly out and not have to worry about taking any damage? What's the plan here? I think there's some good options on the table. I think, you know, you could look at the Thanatos, you could look at the Fenrir maybe. Thanatos, no leap, but does have a good way to kind of deal with just putting people into the ground. But it looks like it's going to be a Ravana. Ravana has that leap, has that CC immunity. Some Toth in the SPL this week. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Toth, very good artillery here, can kind of play back, but is easy to dive once that dash is down. So I think you kind of have to think about some good escapability here, some good movement. And I'm curious to see what the pick's going to be. I wouldn't mind seeing a Giannis, though. Just saying. I think Giannis could kind of go hard here. Being able to transport your team around. It's going to be a Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga feels pretty good right now. Able to go in that house, get a little bit tanky with the shields. Able to put out really, really good consistent damage in that ultimate and just with the pots in general. So let's hop in to game number 1 of Asgard Okami versus Feed for Speed for this quarterfinals matchup. I wonder if this is the same McLovin I played against like a week ago. Alrighty. We're waiting for everybody to load in so I can move the items menu around. You know, I was watching League the other day, and it confused me because their ADCs are not on the bottom, and I got really thrown for a loop. I just wanted to share that. And I'm curious to see, does anybody go any different type of starter here? Specific in ADC, I think there's been some interesting play here. And it is going to be an ability-based build here for Foxy Grandpops on this Martika Ross. Going the Bluestone Pendant here straight into what's probably going to be a Transcendence or Dominance. But a little bit surprised to see that. Doesn't have to really worry about getting that lifesteal with how good Martika Ross's path is, being able to get that ability and auto attack lifesteal is huge off his passive, and really just not surprised to see the lifesteal avoided. We do see a change here for both the supports, one going Sentinels, one going Benevolence. Other than that, pretty much the same across the board, except for in solo, we have the Warding Sigil, so going the mitigations type build here for the Hercules, and the Odin looking at this Warrior's Axe. And we'll have to see how this ends up panning out over the course of the game, but nothing too crazy here. Two different starts for both the teams here. Asgard Okami starting their duo lane over on the left side of the map, while on the side of Feed for Speed, their mid solo on the right side, and their jungler is going to be starting the speed on the duo side here. And this leads to some interesting starts. We've seen a few different things with SPL, but also just with different starts in general from the teams that have been casted this season of how they kind of want to play the game, and do they want to put that pressure in duo early, or they want to put that pressure in mid? Rarely at this point in 10.4 are we looking to put pressure in solo, but that option is still there, as Inside has some pretty good clear here with Might, and now they will walk on over to duo lane, pulling all three of those camps together. And with this start now, after some changes here, neither of you hit level 2 until you run all the way over the duo lane and this minions collide, and then you're allowed to hit level 2. So notice that little bit of difference here. You're not going to see too many level 2s start off, except in mid jungle. Everybody else has to go get a little bit of farm. And right now, just over, pretty chill. No one's really stepping up out of position here for either team. Asgard Okami is playing up, but they don't really have the threat of being aggressed upon currently. We do see the difference here is the jungle staying in mid here for Feed for Speed, while 12 Gauge goes and picks up the speed on the back left side, then comes back to mid, letting Vectors get a little bit of farm, while Honestly stays over there in mid on this Circuit. And now there's going to be a clash here over by the Oracles. And 12 Gauge eating a lot of damage here to Honestly and Valkyrie. Good damage, pokes him out. Gonna have to walk away, and now this Yu Huang might step up and try to get something off. Inside poked out over on the duo side. But in mid, they are looking to fight. They're looking for the aggression here. 12 Gauge still under half health, but doesn't care. Still fighting into it. Honestly, ends up not being able to get the damage off on the 12 Gauge there, and just has to kind of back up and rethink this through. Now they're going to split, one going left, one going right for the Harpies here. Really quick clear here by Vectors and 12 Gauge. They're actually going to be able to clear the wave possibly before Feed for Speed gets back. Valkyrie throws the pot over. It's Honestly that they have to worry about here. This Circuit, the one thing that makes it problematic is not just like the change of the passive, but being able to, go down next to a wall, be in stealth, and then leap in is just problematic. You can sit there and hide. Has the same type of potential that Martikaros Grass has. So Martikaros Grass, it's there, so there's a potential of someone being in it. But over on the right side of the map, Diego picks up the solo kill against Double Mumble here. The Hercules gets the first blood, and that's pretty huge. Now looking for more. 12 Gauge over on the solo side as well. Double Mumble leaps in. That's a leap down. But Diego and 12 Gauge do have to retreat here. This Hercules does not have a lot of mana. Doesn't want to stay and end up, paying the price for being a little bit aggressive here. But Diego going ahead and picking up the early kill here in the solo lane. Not something we're typically used to seeing here. There's usually a lot of slap fighting and then moving on in the solo lane, but Diego decides to do it a little bit differently. And usually when we watch Diego, that's kind of how this goes. Just kind of W keys the other solo laners down. Usually they're able to get out though. Not this time. This time does fall to a kill there. And Hercules getting an early start here is not a fun time if you're Feed for Speed, so they're going to need to slow that down sooner rather than later. Valkyrie on this Baba Yaga putting out really, really good damage as 12 Gauge and Vectors go over and pick up the Oracle camps here and make sure Get that little bit extra farm, but now feed for speed. Looking for their green buff. 12 gauge is able to spot it out, but they're just going to let that go. Over on the duo side here, it looks like McLovin's looking to get a little bit aggressive here on end side. Actually walls off that whole corridor. Might has to go ahead and put down the rivers, and there it goes. A kill in favor of Asgard Okami. Both ultimates expended here by end side and Might, but does not matter. They get the kill. They get what they wanted. But look at this. Honestly is here. Foxy Grandpops is also up in the ultimate. This could be Inside's death as it gets thrown back in. But oh my god, the Riptide is just absolutely insanely placed right before it goes away. And 12 gets to just abuse this and put down, honestly, who else? I mean, honestly, who else would have thought that was going to happen? Not me. Might just gets a great Riptide there, and sad times if you're the Sharrix looking to, you know, path your way out there, get pulled back into a tower. And unfortunate, some would say. Inside gets to live to see another day, which is probably more impressive than anything else. Probably should have taken a death there, but gets to live. Yo, excuse me? Okay, no. Okay, we missed the first blood. We can't miss this. We can't leave Diego like this, okay? Hold on. Rewind it back. Sorry, chat. Diego out here putting on a clinic in the solo lane. Double Mumble not having a fun time. We're going to find out why. We already know how Sharrix died, so we're moving back over here trying to figure out what the heck just happened as Diego is just becoming an absolute menace on this Hercules. He goes and he explores his jungle. Some would say he's excavating it. And then he comes back over to the solo side, picks up a Harpy and goes to wave. Double Mumble gets pushed back. Eats a good bit of damage. Oh no. And the boulder hits for one, hits for two. And the driving strike puts him down. Just an absolute Diego Hercules clinic put on there. If you need to learn how to play Hercules, I guess he's the guy to ask. Because holy, he went on a tour of the jungle, comes back and puts him down. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Vectors and Matt now in middle here. This Inside actually walks up into the Sharrix and gets to live. Wow. Inside half health here. Does not matter. Honestly, decides to walk away. I'm really surprised there, as Sharrix must have had just nothing up. Inside now pathing over. Wants to pick up the purple buff here, if possible. They will get it for free. No aggression by anybody. Free purple buff. Best purple buff. Now it's a little bit slowing down here. Double Mumble is pushing up in the lane on the right side, but Diego, no mana right now. This is about the, well, it's regenning pretty quick here. Even though it's really the Golden Blade, and that's it here for this Hercules. It's going to buff that clear, but nothing else too crazy. We do see both the supports have got Prophetic. The question is how hard will they int to stack it? Diego going, hey, maybe I can do some more fun things. Give me a second. Oh, the driving strike off the mark here. But really, that's okay. Already has 2 solo kills. Back over in mid, McLovin looking to put a root down and some damage on the Bastions, but nothing to really worry about as Vectors is stepping up here. Vectors, it's 3 people around. Could be a little bit of trouble, but ends up just being able to glide away. Kind of the benefit of picking Yu Huang is just how safe this god is. Good root there by McLovin, but that's about it. Nothing else more to... Oh, no. McLovin could be in trouble. 12 gauge hits the root. The rivers come down. And now, Valkyrie is taking this as an aggressive moment. They're looking for 12 gauge. 12 gauge is still above half health. It's a little bit odd placement there to go for that and start chasing it down. But just a strange time. On the left side here, we do have the duo lane, the second solo as I like to call it. We do have a little bit of fighting go on. I do have to take a quick break. I will be right back. I'll put some music on for y'all. Give me 2 seconds. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. We had a slight thing I had to go take care of upstairs real quick for my wife. Had to turn off something that the kids left on. But we are back, and we are ready to hop right back into the game. Maybe if I can find my buttons. Oh my goodness, that was tough. And now we are back to the second solo lane popping off over here. We do see Double Mumble is chasing Diego despite being 2 levels down here. Driving Star got a little bit off the mark here. And now good damage put out here. We see honestly rotating over to secure the blue buff here, but Double Mumble cannot afford to keep playing this aggressive here. And look at where Valkyrie is compared to Vectors, and Vectors thought about sneaking up behind, decided it wasn't the best idea ever, despite there is some backup behind her. They could get Valkyrie to push up. That would be huge here. Now just pretty chill here moment for both teams, as Foxy Grandpops has made a whole slew of bushes here to stand in. Kind of one of the benefits of Marty is to just kind of put these down in a way. Rooted is able to get away. Really good play there by Inside just to get out. But 12 gauge is on the rotation. Oh, Foxy Grandpops is able to spot him out, I think. But Inside goes in anyways, hits the brambles, and might be looking for more. Honestly, is around the corner. Might try to leap in here. They need the root on the inside to do anything. They get the root, but it doesn't matter. Is now, look at this. McLovin pathing behind. I don't know if knows they're there. In the 3 for feed for speed, we'll end up just walking away, securing the buffs, get rid of that ward, and move on. Not sure what else they're going to look for here, or if really there's anything else for them to look for. I think Goldfear is a little bit out of the picture for now. Right side here, Diego pushing down these bastions, looking for Double Mumble to make a simple mistake. And Double Mumble fakes the back. I just don't know if you could stay. Double Mumble might end up paying the price here. Has that contagion, but you have the breastplate here just healing Diego up. It doesn't matter that contagions there. But now Diego will back. It's going to give a little bit of relief here for Double Mumble. Might be able to get a little bit of farm that otherwise would not have been able to get. Valkyrie, McLovin stepping up towards the Oracles. Might is here. Vectors is here. Looking for damage now. 12 gauge rotating as well. There it is. The blink. Valkyrie could be in trouble. The leap is good. Dueling Dragons come through to get more damage on the Valkyrie, but Valkyrie has to go into the ults. It doesn't matter. Vectors puts him down. Valkyrie has to get away. And now, honestly, decides to step up on this Serpent. I don't know if that's honestly a good idea. Martika Ross is pushing left-hand side here. Is going to get a Bastion at the very least. Gets 2 for the troubles. And then just going to let the rest of the tower stay there. As, you know, go get some farm. Double Mumble has the major rotation. Feed for Speed are looking for a Gold Fury, it looks like, having 4 members over here despite losing Valkyrie earlier on. 12 gauge and inside could be in a very bad place as the Sharrix makes the rotation, isn't able to capitalize off anything, instead gets ulted, and then the walk away is good. But Mumble's just letting the tier 1 go in right. Already down 2 levels. I'm not quite understanding what's going on. But Double is looking for something, I think. But Foxy Grandpop's just back. They don't have an ADC around to even do Gold Fury if they wanted to. What is going on here? Double Mumble is over here still. Thought about backing, decides it wasn't worth it. McLovin, they're just hanging out at the Gold Fury pit. And I don't know what the plan is. Surely standing over here for 2 to 3 minutes, not getting any farm cannot be the plan. And now all 5 feet for speed are rotating to this Gold Fury. But look where Diego is. Diego's running in from behind. He's level 14. He's massive. Oh, he decides to back. He's going to let that go. No, he doesn't. He is walking up here. And it is feed for speed pulling the Gold Fury here at 12 minutes and 30 seconds. And now they're trapped in the rivers. There it goes. Honestly, under half health here. And it doesn't matter. Martikaros is up in the air. But for what? I mean, the damage isn't there. Asgard Okami just gets to walk in here and do whatever they want from the looks of it. Diego running it down, level 14, pushes out the Sharrix. Sharrix has to just completely run away. They're all TKO'd, and now it's a free Gold Fury pool here for Asgard Okami. I mean, Feed for Speed are looking for stepping up, and if they step up here, if they commit any type of leap or engage to this Gold Fury, I think they're going to die. Gold Fury still being leashed. McLovin walks up. McLovin taken out by inside. Double Mumble somehow is able to, you know, walk in and get out here. Gold Fury is going to be pulled again. But again, they're standing here. They're eating the damage. Double Mumble, he's ulted, he's transformed, but he can't come back into this, surely. Double Mumble, thinking about it, decides not to. Asgard Okami picks up a kill and gets a Gold Fury for their troubles. They don't lose anything for that. That is wild. Oh my goodness. And honestly decides to go in versus 4? 5? Oh, Diego. A little bit off the mark there. If that hits, that's a dead Sharrix. And now it's backs coming through here. Just more itemization. Coming through. 12 gauge has a Blood Forge too, picks up a kill. It's gonna kind of go burr. And the Spectral already for Diego, and that's gonna be feeling pretty good against this Sharrix. On the opposite side here, Double Mumble, you know, Contagion into Genji's, but you're almost, you know, you're an item and a half behind. Not to mention the levels. That's just insane. Sharrix here with the Jotuns into Deathbringer. That's a big expense for that far into the build. And then you have Valkyrie here, you know, has the Karen's coin, stacking it up with the Spirit of Desolation. Gonna be feeling pretty good. McLovin gets trapped, and Diego picks up the kill. The Dueling Dragons coming through. That's a lot of damage onto the Sharrix. Sharrix is going to be the next one to get put down, I think. No, she gets just TK'd out here as 12 gauge went in and tried to finish off the kill. Wasn't able to do it. Diego now low, but I don't think it matters. Asgard Okami get another kill there. They're not able to pick up the Pyro, but I don't think it necessarily matters. Inside's on the left-hand side split pushing. And this is feeling pretty good if you're Asgard Okami. I mean, you have a 6,000 gold lead at 15 minutes into the game. And among that, you haven't dropped a kill yet. This could be scary here for Inside. Does see it. Ends up dropping the tower kill here. And Foxy Grandpops is able to save the tower for the time being. We'll just see what the plan is for Inside. Decides to not go for that shield buff and instead go for the wave. Foxy Grandpops is going to do the opposite here. Going to go for the shield buff. And Inside's going to path up. Oh, this is scary time for Foxy. Oh, Foxy's going to get out. Foxy's going to get out, I think. No Bramble Blast there by Inside, which I was really thinking was going to happen. They know the Sharrix there. They're going to back off. No, Inside's stepping up. Is this a bait? No way. Yep, it's a bait. 12 gauge is on the way. Inside just has to live. There's the blink by the Sharrix. The taunt's off the mark. The dash is good. And there's the ultimate. But for what? You don't get anything for it. In fact, that's huge for Asgard Okami. They get the ultimate Sharrix and the blink here. And now you can just go back to what you're doing. You don't have to worry about that anymore. The threat is gone. Back over on the mid lane side, we do see Pyromancer being pulled here. They drop it. And now there's the River's Rebuke again. It comes crashing down. Valkyrie up into the house, but Diego's here. There's the Dueling Dragons. Vectors with another kill. And it's just simple as that. It's I don't know what else to say for Asgard Okami. This is just simple. And they're looking at attacking Diego. I don't know why. He's level 17. You're 4 levels behind. The Hercules is already a problem if you're on par with him in level. When he's that far ahead, it's not going to be a fun time for you. As Honestly is about to find out. Looking to try to do something here. Has to dash and possibly leave out as Vectors almost picks up the kill on the back end of that. And at this point, Diego's fighting under a tier 1 tower. And by fighting, I mean he's standing there letting the tier 1 tower fall while he just eats tower shots for no reason. Inside, now looking to 1v1 Foxy. Instead, both carries will walk away here. And this should be a little bit of a farming area now. We need to... Someone needs to start getting to the Gold Fury idea. If they get a pick, that's where they should go. But right now, if you're feed for speed, you're looking for just a way to pick off either, you know, Vectors, 12 gauge, or Inside, I think. I think you just kind of ignore Diego if possible. Try to take a fight while he's not there. The fights have to be on your own terms here. And because this Hercules build's only getting more irritating to deal with as an Oni Hunter's Garb is online now for this Hercules. Double Mumble has made the rotation over to the Gold Fury side yet again, but they're backing off. There's no one here for Asgard Okami besides Inside and lane. And as soon as Odin does anything crazy, I mean, Diego could teleport over, but might just decide, no, he can't. Teleport's down. I lied. He's going to go for the tier 2. He's going to split push on the Hercules and just get what he can as 5 members of Feed for Speed stay on this left-hand side. And now here they are grouping up, looking for the Gold Fury. But you know what Asgard Okami does? They said, cool, you guys go for that Gold Fury. That's an awesome thing to do. We're going to go get Fire Giant at 19 minutes into the game. And that is exactly the plan here. Fire Giants, almost half health. They're not, I mean, they have to know. Feed for Speed have to know that this was the plan by Asgard Okami. They didn't step up to Gold Fury. They have to be at Fire. And Fire will fall before anybody gets the chance to even think about stepping up. There's the blink by Honestly, but it's not going to be good enough. River's Rebuke's there. Here comes more ultimates, but Asgard Okami is grouped as 4 here. Diego just standing in between everybody of Feed for Speed besides the Sharrix. And Valkyrie leaves healthy along with Foxy Grandpa's. McLovin, the one that took the most damage there. But Asgard Okami will give up that Gold Fury 100% of the time in order to get a fire. That's not even a question at this point. Now Diego running down left side says, cool guys, let's go get the left side. I already have right side pushed up anyway. And this tier 1, I think, how much health does the tier 1 have? About a Hercules auto left, if I had to guess, you know. Maybe not. Maybe a little bit more. We do see Demon Blade now online here for Inside. We have the Raw Tahuti for Vector is going to be feeling pretty good here. Brawler's Beat Stick for 12 gauge. Itemization looking pretty on point here. Double Mumble ends up getting a Glad Shield. We already see the Malicious Deathbringer here for Honestly on the Sharrix. And then Soul Reaver already built for Valkyrie here, looking to get a little bit of extra shred on those tanks. McLovin has looked to go for the double stacking support build here, going the Thebes with the Prophetic Cloak. And again, this Mertikaros going this ability-based build hasn't really done anything one way or the other. Just zeros across the score line here. As Asgard Okami says, cool, we'll go strip away your comeback gold. And then we're going to head to mid after we get some more camps. And Asgard Okami just putting on an absolute clinic here. Making sure that they get everything they can with this Fire Giant, but also not stepping too far ahead to where someone gets picked and then they lose an objective, or, you know, just towers off the map in general. Playing this very, very smart. Still staying grouped as 4. Diego's gonna split push right here, which isn't uncommon. Get both towers under threat. Not a bad plan. Oh no! What a terrible, terrible time for that ultimate. Catches nobody in the rivers there. Oh, that was highly unfortunate. Though Mundle gets a great use for the ult, but now Inside gets put down inside the Odin cage. The Dueling Dragons were good, but not good enough to dissuade that kill. Diego running in from behind, but there's the blink and the jump, as honestly looking to get damage in from the Circuit build, but it just isn't there. Vectors will finally fall, but they committed so much for that one kill, and now Diego is here. Not really sure much else is going to come of this fight, but I guess Feed for Speed is feeling it. Great root there by 12 gauge. And they're just full committing to this tier 2 tower. Might falls as well. This is disastrous for Asgard Okami. Now, Diego looking to try to save this tier 2 tower, but it's just not going to happen. Keep in mind, Asgard Okami were the ones with Fire Giant when that all went down. Just a bad way to start the fight, and it just went downhill from there. Oni Fury is up. And Feed for Speed are looking that way, and I'm assuming that's where they're going. Asgard Okami are not going to let that go for free. They're going to step up to that this time. Diego and 12 gauge zoning out the whole entire team of Feed for Speed, while Inside starts the Oni Fury. Ends up dropping it. They're worried about the Circuit, which is completely understood from a carry. Now all 5 members of Asgard Okami are over here. I think they just go and full pull this. They don't really have to worry at this point. There's no immediate threat step up here. Valkyrie's around but gets pushed by Diego, and there's the Oni Fury in favor of Asgard Okami. This allows them a lot of pressure to go pick up fire if they want, or to just look to push down mid or this right side with these Oni Fury waves. But right now, it looks like they're running over to fire, picking up some camps on the way. Double Mumble already here, but Double Mumble, I don't know if they're aware of Diego being behind them, and they 100% are as Diego goes ahead and backs. Good job spotting out that ward so you can get a sentry down for it. Now, we do want to watch Inside. Now has the Deathbringer online here. Could be swinging. Heartseeker online for 12 gauge. We do see a Demon Blade over here on the Circuit side too, but this Martyr Core is still in this full ability-based damage. You know, it has the Brawlers, now has the Crusher. I'm assuming that's going to be a Heartseeker at the end, but we'll just kind of have to see. Asgard Okami looking for something. Watch the Circuit on the left side here. Looks for the damage on the 12 gauge. Isn't able to get anything from it. The Fire Giant's dance still is ensuing, but look at the Oni minion waves on the left-hand side. This is going to clear out that wave. It's going to push into Phoenix. This could be a little bit scary if I'm Feed for Speed. I'm a little bit worried about that left side Phoenix at the rate this is going. This dance has taken a very long time. As honestly gets poked out. It's a Pyromancer pool for Asgard Okami. And they will get it. for free 99. We did send someone over to defend the left-hand Phoenix. Good push there by Diego. It's a 4v5, and Asgard Okami is very aware of this. 12 gauge is pathing in behind them, looking for a flank here on their Ravana. Diego is still just running it down at their team. Asgard Okami back off. They said, hey, we're going to go back to fire. They're looking for a way to play into this. And Feed for Speed are not going to pull this fire. There's just no way. They want to pick... Actually, they want multiple picks for going for that. But they are stalling this out. Now we're just back to standing here. Both teams debating what they want to do here with this Fire Giant pull. Almost 28 minutes in. About 2 minutes away from Enhanced Fires. Inside was backing and gets caught out here by Honestly. Ooh, that's a scary time for Inside. Just trying to back. Eats the Circuit kit after a blink. But we'll live to see the tail another day. So Mumble does jump in here on Diego. They're looking to push Diego out. Diego just looking to be an absolute menace. Double Mumble. Walking away. And it's still just a dance around here. This Fire Giant pit. At this point, both teams should just let it become enhanced. I feel like there's no reason to pull it before, you know, it's going to be enhanced fire. But this is a long, drawn-out dance here. A lot of micro management of kind of where you want to be. Is there a place we can get a pick? Is there a position on some... Now Double Mumble goes in. They're looking for the fight. Now the engagement's here. It's McLovin and Double Mumble on Asgard Okami. It's a 2v4 as Diego is on the other side of that. There's the cage by Double Mumble. Really good job there by Asgard Okami just to have the tanks dive them and get some good poke onto them. Honestly, who else has to leave as well? I think Double Mumble is trying to back here. Now does get the back off, but McLovin is in trouble. There's the boulder. Oh, and along with all the other CC, McLovin is not loving the gray screen right now. And Double Mumble does teleport in from behind, but already eats a good bit of damage and has to leap out. Diego looking for the circuit. And now Asgard Okami is running back towards the Fire Giant, and they're going to pull it this time. They said 5v4, we like those odds. If anybody steps up, I assume they will drop it. 12 gauge does end up dying here, and now they have to fully drop it. They don't have the sustain and the team comp to be able to deal with that. Diego pops the heal, but this is problematic for Diego getting ran down here as there's the Odin cage. Oh no, they get a bomb off. The Runic Bomb does a good bit of damage there, but there's the Dueling Dragons. A double kill for Vectors turns around what was once a bad thing into a good thing for Asgard Okami here. Now Foxy Grandpops is the next person being looked at, and Inside picks up the kill. The carries for Asgard Okami are absolutely popping off as the root lands on Double Mumble having to run away. And what looked so good for Feed for Speed there became so disastrous in an instant. And we do see that Envenom Deathbringer there for Inside. Gonna go ahead and have some anti-shield and anti-heal. Gold Fury has respawned again. Looking through, we do see the Rod of Asipicus for Might on the Emoja. We do see Spear of the Magus getting able to mark those targets as Yu Huang. I mean, we've been seeing Vectors just pumping out the damage on this Yu Huang. In fact, taking a look at player number or player damage in a second, because the ult's been on point. I mean, you can't deny that. Yeah, Yu Huang, top of the player damage charts right now at 25,333 damage. Almost, actually, yeah, about 8K ahead of the next person. And now the full mitigations are online now for Diego. Just mitting it up over there. Let's see if Inside bought the right cow. No. No. Okay. We'll talk about this after the game. I have a hot take about that. Not that it's bad, but I do have a hot take I will share with the audience afterwards. Prophetic has been stacked here by McLovin. Might still waiting for it. Still waiting to get those last few stacks. Other than that, pretty standard builds across the board here. I do see a Magi's for the Circuit. Just really worried about that CC. And now, Asgard Okami say, you know what? We're tired of dancing around fire. We're just going to go grab the tier 2 in mid. And they do. Easy peasy. And now they have kind of a good avenue into the right side jungle here that's a little bit scary. How did they not get knocked up there? A little bit scary here for Feed for Speed, as Asgard Okami just open up more avenues for them to walk through. Now Diego running it down on the left side of the jungle here, fighting against the carries as Asgard Okami is looking for a way in. 12 gauge and Vectors follow suit. And now they're going to siege the tier 2. A siege on the right side tier 2 and the solo side. Asgard Okami looking for a way in. So far, nothing. Ooh, good clap there by McLovin. But right now, Feed for Speed, they're the ones that are in trouble here. Asgard Okami are able to sustain. They have the Emoja. But, like, you have to figure out a way, if you're Feed for Speed, to deal with them. Asgard Okami are not going to just freely dive your tower and just eat a bunch of free damage for no reason. So Feed for Speed, keep kind of stepping up, poking a little bit. Valkyrie, nearly in trouble, is able to get out. And now Asgard Okami say, cool, you're not going to come fight us. Well, we're just going to go take your buffs. We'll head to fire. Don't worry about it. It's exactly what they do here. Great root onto double mumble. Now we're back to dancing. And my brain cannot comprehend what is happening right now. We backed off the tier 2. Thought we're trying to bait him into a fire. That is apparently not the case. I'm gonna probably maybe back and get some wards and some upgrades and maybe some pots or something. I don't know. My brain has hit the confusion point. So I'm gonna sit here at fire for a second, chat. I'm gonna drink some water, and we'll resume once the teams come back. How does Diego not get punished for this? Diego just walks up into Feed for Speed and says, fight me. And then walks away. And this isn't just Herc things. This is Diego things. Here is the pull on Pyromancer. Pyromancer picked up here for Asgard Okami. They now have 2 runic bombs. It's going to really help them on a siege or just dropping Fire Giant, whichever they choose to do here. Diego finds Valkyrie and Foxy Grandpops. Is able to back off a little bit thanks to the Riptide. Double Mumble is behind on this Odin, though. Now Diego stepping up, eating the root and some damage. There's the ultimate here by Double Mumble. The root is good by Vectors. They're looking to try to kill Diego, but they just can't do it. The mitigations are just too good. It's feed for speed. Give Asgard Okami some room. Asgard Okami does have all 5 ultimates at their disposal. And this could be problematic for feed for speed. But this Fire Giant dance has now been about 10 minutes and nothing's happened. There it is. Vectors picks up a kill. Another Dueling Dragons on the mark. McLovin now in trouble. 12 gauge picks up a kill as Foxy Grandpops went up into the ultimate but isn't able to get anything for it. Double Mumble, the next one to fall. Vectors with the double kill. There's one left. Is this going to be a deicide? The beads are good there by Foxy Grandpops. And no, Asgard Okami says this is our time to shine. The Fire Giant that we've been dancing around for 9 to 10 minutes is finally going to be ours. And Fire Giant will fall in favor of Asgard Okami. Enhanced Fire is now theirs, and they are going to march down the right side and finish getting this tier 2 in the right lane. We'll have to see, do they decide to commit for more? I assume they do. Timers are still a while. You at least get this Phoenix. Martika Ross is not going to pin to you. So nothing too much to worry about. Dueling Dragons on the mark again. Vectors is going hammy salami with these ultimates, and it's going to be 2 birds down for the price of 1, as now feed for speed is starting to respawn, but that is not going to deter Asgard Okami from going for all 3 birds, and that's another one. All 3 Phoenixes down for feed for speed. Asgard Okami feeling themselves like they were in the early game. Now they got this enhanced fire. They're going to pick up some camps on the way, a Gold Fury, and then back to finish off the rest of their builds. There it is. Asgard Okami picks up the Primal Fury. Not necessarily the one you want at this point in the game. Really hoping for the Oni, but good nonetheless. And builds are just being finished out now. Got, 4 Phantom Shells on the side of Asgard Okami. Something I talked about earlier on that you might need if you're against this Odin. Along with that, lots of beads, but the item that we should really all be a little bit focused on here is Vector's just got Staff of Mirrodin. So after throwing out that ultimate that he's been landing consistently now, I don't know if there's been a Dueling Dragons miss this game. There's going to be a lot of damage on the back end of one of those, off of one of those ultimates. It's just going to be insanity. They're running it down mid here. Fire waves are there. Fire waves are in right as well. Asgard Okami know where Martika Ross is. They know where the Circuit is. Feed for speed had to try to stop, push out some waves, but now Diego is chasing the Circuit. Inside is going to try to help. The Brambles are a little bit off the mark, and honestly will get out, which is, honestly pretty surprising, as 12 gauge is fighting a 1v4 and lives. In fact, doesn't even look like they take any damage. That is absolutely wild.
Your Titan is under attack.
Now here it is, getting some damage on the Titan. Feed for speed are pushing back out, but is it going to matter? The Dueling Dragons come through. The Dueling Dragons are off the mark. The Martika all is good. Oh my goodness, the Rivers were just so good, but Circuit gets brought through with the ultimate, and now Asgard Okami on a full retreat. Diego in the middle of 4 does not seem to care at all. The taunt comes through. 12 gauge could be in trouble here. Is able to leap out. Feed for Speed are chasing this, but they have 1, 2, 3 fire minion waves pushing their Titan. There's no way that this is the safe call, but it's probably the only thing you have. You have to try to get a deicide onto Asgard Okami to turn this game around. Feed for Speed are speeding down mid lane, looking to try and end the game. And now they've realized the error of their transgressions as 3 fire minion waves are just sitting here attacking the Titan. It's Winions. Winions are going ham. Can they clear them in time? And they will. The Titan will have just a smidge more HP. And now, if you're Asgard Okami, you just have Diego teleport in right here. Or, actually, no, even better. Teleport into the base in the game. Asgard Okami chasing it down the mid lane. And now, Double Mumble is coming in from behind. I'm not sure if they're aware. I don't think it's going to matter. Diego doesn't care. Vector says goodbye to Valkyrie. The Phoenix in mid lane is fixing to spawn. Double Mumble did pick up Vectors, but it doesn't matter. Game over. Game number 1 goes in Asgard Okami's favor. After, 3 Winion waves go and attack the Titan. Crazy. I can't believe they chased as hard as they did. But I do think that was their win condition. I think they had to. Okay. I like this draft. I mean, obviously, I think they just had a really hard time dealing with... once Diego got first blood and then got another solo kill, Hercules becomes really, really hard to deal with the lead that was there. So Feed for Speed kind of fell behind and weren't able to capitalize on it. They did have a good turnaround off of a bad ult. But might, and then they had like the idea they had to try to chase it down and get the kills was good because that's their win condition at that point. But if you don't get the kills, like I would say, if you don't pick up at least 1 to 2 kills by the time you're halfway down mid lane, you probably give it up and just do your defense. Like, and then that sucks to say, but I think that's probably the case. Damage numbies, 41,000. Here for Vectors. Vectors, I think, hit all but one of the dueling dragons. These wards are absolutely insane by Asgard Okami. 16, 31, 20, 22, 16. But I do want to touch on Leader's Cal. Leader's Cal, really, really good. But, what's better is the other one that I can't remember right now. No, this is the right one. You built the right one. My bad, my bad. I thought you got Hunter's Cal. My bad. That's on me. That's on me. Yeah, you want the one that gives physical power. My bad. My bad. That is the better one. For a second, I looked at it, and I was like, there's no shot he got the attack speed one. I was about to be super sad. I was like, you have no other auto attackers. You definitely get Leaders. Leaders is just so, so good. Yeah, I take it back. My bad. In the mid-casting, I was like, there's no way this man bought Hunter's Cal. I was about to be upset. Leader's Cal's just better. Leader's Cal just better. If you don't believe me, that's fine. You're just wrong. Leader's Cal is the good one. I've been BM'd for buying Leader's Cal, and that is mind-boggling to me that someone would even comprehend the fact that giving your whole entire team extra power is bad. All right, give me 1 second, and we'll hop into game number 2. I just need to get some water real quick. If you're just tuning in, this is the Sharrix Conference quarterfinals of Asgard Okami versus Feed for Speed. Asgard Okami just took game number 1. We'll be heading into game number 2 right after a quick ad, thanks to Suave, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, let's hop into game number 2 and see what happens. Alright, I think I do have to switch teams around real quick. Yeah. Bamboozle. Giving your whole entire team extra power is just good. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have like 3 auto attackers on your team, like let's say it's like you, Bakasura, and I don't know, whoever else, then you can make the argument. But most likely you don't have Silver Branch, so you're already at attack speed cap. You go Leader's Cal, 100%. All right, game number 2, bands. We see Thor and Hell banned away here by Feed for Speed. Talked about it last game. Same idea here. You don't want to have 12 gauge dropping it down the hammer on you with Thor. You've already seen what he's going to do with Ravana, and Ravana doesn't have a semi-global ultimate. The different ban here is going to be the Hercules. Asgard Okami said, hey, we're not going to give that away, so it can be first picked. We're going to go ahead and ban it away. Feed for Speed goes ahead and responds with, hey, we don't want to deal with the emoji again. Those emoji ults, besides that one in mid that we're not going to talk about, we're really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. We don't want to deal with the out-of-combat healing. We don't want to deal with the ultimate. We don't want to deal with our Circuit walking away and getting riptide under a tower. So that's kind of the key here. Afro banned away again, and this leaves open Hebo and Feed for Speed insta-lock it. Can give people the hands, ultimate lets you just insta kill a carry. This feels pretty good here. Atlas of the Yellow River. You just can't really go, too wrong here. Curious to see if it's going mid or going jungle. I'm going to assume it's going mid. 12 gauge says, hey, if I can't have Yamoja, I'm going to take that tarot away. And, no, not 12 gauge. This is for might, but 12 gauge picks it. Whatever. You all know what I mean. And this is followed by the Vimana that wasn't able to be banned away either. And this I'm going to be excited to see here, as Diego is someone that likes to run it down. You give him the big baby, and I have a feeling you're in for a good time in this set. But this leaves Feed for Speed kind of understanding that, okay, this is the front line we're going to play against. We already have our Hebot. Do we want to go ahead and pick our front line so we can think a little bit more about what carries we want? And this is where draft strategy gets a little bit important for teams, because you have to decide what you want to show. So you can decide, hey, what's the role that's most important that I get counter picks off of? And the more that you think about it, the more I see two tanks, I'm like, okay. Maybe I pick one carry now and I leave the other one for later. But you already have one of them. So I think you have to either pick up both your tanks here, or you have to pick up your jungle tank. It just depends. Where's the Hebot going? Good flex pick. And they are going to pick up the Ishtar. Ishtar, one of the best, hunters in the game still. With that being said, did see a slight nerf. There's the Giannis I talked about last picks and bans that I think is just a good pick right now after the changes to the kit, giving, just a little bit more damage. Giannis going to be feeling pretty good here. Is going to be able to kind of drop ship his team if they can. And 12 gauge is going to be the one getting the Circuit this time around. We're going to see completely different teams on both sides from the looks of it. I can't imagine that Feed for Speed are going to let Kurnanos through to fight against this Ishtar. But maybe they do. Be a little bit surprised if they did, though. I feel like Kurnanos is kind of the one you have to worry about. Maybe Marty. I imagine one of those is coming off the table here. Odin banned away here by Asgard Okami. It makes complete sense. Again, this time at least Circuit has a leap, but you don't want to have to play against that Odin cage. They had 4 Phantom Shells last game. I'm pretty sure they'd like, to pick up a different relic, and this is going to allow them to do that. Yu Huang is going to be the ban away for Feed for Speed here. It makes complete sense with the amount of damage that Vectors put out last game. And not only that, just the dueling dragons and the roots that were hit by vectors, you could take away the damage and still just a lot of good setup by the Yu Huang for the rest of the team, which puts Asgard Okami back on the clock of thinking, what do we want to get rid of? What's going to be the most annoying thing to us with our current comp? And I think there's a lot of good picks left. They go ahead and get rid of the Ares. I'm surprised to see that. And Feed for Speed said, hey, we're going to get rid of the Agni. We don't want to have to deal with that artillery. We don't have to deal with those bombs and the stuns and all that comes from it. And they go ahead and just ban it away. And there it is. There's the Kurnanos being hovered and locked in again for Asgard Okami. Slightly surprised that gets through, but I think when you get Ishtar, you're not too worried about it, because Ishtar and Kurnanos both being part of the top hunter club. But now at least Feed for Speed thinking, what tanks do we want? And I was going to say Ganesha, and there it is. Really was about to say it. Can't believe it. Ganesha brings a lot to the comp, is able to section off a nice little square that if you want to walk through, you're going to eat a ton of damage, and you're going to get slowed down pretty significantly. You're going to feel pretty good into Kurnos and Serket, really even to Terra. I think Ramana doesn't really care about it, but not too surprised to see this support this game. But the question is who is going to be the solo laner? Lots of good choices left. You have your, typical Kukulane Surtur and Eris Surtur picked up. Lots of dive here with the Feed for Speed comp this time. They might be speeding this game. You have Surtur, great dive. Giannis likes to dive. Hebwa likes to ult in or out of the fight. Doesn't matter which one. Ishtar likes to play aggressive. Overall, I think this is a very aggressive draft. And Vector's pick here is possibly a Scylla that Asgard Okami is hovering. We'll have to see if they decide to lock it in. I do like what Scylla brings. You have a way to get out of the Ganesh ult without eating any damage. You also basically have an execute that if you land, you get to reset and do it again. So damage-wise, I'm going to be feeling pretty good here with the way Vectors played last game. I think I'm a Monster is probably going to go hard. But I guess we'll find out more as we head into game number 2 of the quarterfinals Sharrix Conference Playoffs of Abaddon Giants League. Ooh, a Vamp Shroud pickup here by Vectors right off the riff. A little spicy. Other than that, we do see the Boombas picked up here for the Hebwa. It is going to be in the jungle. Guess I didn't really go back and touch on that. Hebwa and Giannis here could be pretty scary together. Again, we see the different starts here, but we do see Foxy Grandpops looking to go the Death Toll this time around. Rather than the standard starts we've been seeing by a lot of carries, which either is Cal, and very few like me that like to go the Arrow and go the attack speed pin build because it goes Burr. But I'm really curious to see how this Scylla build goes with this Vampiric Shroud. We'll have to see what the idea is here for the teams and what they want to do. Looks like the same type of start here for Feed for Speed. They're going to start all 3 on the left side. While for Asgard Okami, they're going to start, their 3 on the solo side. Let Snide and Might take the 3 camps between green, rogue, Cyclops camp, and purple. And we'll see how this, pans out. But so far, so good. Asgard Okami is up 1 game. This is a best of 3 set for the quarterfinals. And this is heading to semifinals, only, a couple weeks away from the finals. which I believe all finals matches are going to be cast on the Albion Giants League channel, from my understanding. And if you missed my announcement earlier, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, Masters semifinals will be casted over on Albion Giants League at 5 p.m. Eastern, I believe. I think that's last I heard. It might have gotten changed to something else, but last I heard, I'll be over there casting as Chair 1 with Spirit of Book in Chair 2, and Desk 1 and 2 will be Freaky G95 and Little Blue Tiger. So come by and check it out. You can click the @ in the stream name, and it will take you to Albion Giants League channel if you want to go follow over there and show some support. But we do see the 2v2 in mid breakout, but on the duo side here, a very aggressive play here by Feed for Speed. They're just going in. Diego not able to first blood here right off the riff. And it wasn't really right off the riff last game. It was, I think, a level 3 or 4. But I think it's going to be a harder task with a Surtur that has so much AoE. And just, a lot more avenues to fight against this Vamana than what there was last game between Odin and Hercules. We look 12 gauge looking to be active here on duo side. Already level 3. And they are running, but the clap is there. It's not going to matter. The Hibwa is rotating from behind, but it says, hey, maybe that's not the best idea I've ever had, and walks away while the shield buff spawns. So 12 gauge and honestly who else are both here at the buff. 12 gauge chilling behind the wall. Shows face so that way he drops it. But man, Hibwa clears is so good. But look at their pathing. They're getting aggressive here. There's the Ishtar Mez. Inside, decides to... Oh, gets a dash off. Splits the uprights. 12 gauge now left, and it could be in a little bit of trouble, but isn't. Ends up able to get out. While in mid, we do have the Scylla versus Giannis matchup going on. .12 gauge getting active here against the enemy jungler. Again, Feed for Speed are just playing this dual lane very aggressive. They're being aggressive across the board, just getting very active everywhere on the map early on. To see who gets first blood here. I do think it's going to happen sooner rather than later with how both teams are playing here, though. And one thing you do have to worry about if you're Feed for Speed is, you do have to worry about the Scylla. You want to shut this Scylla down. You want to keep Scylla behind if possible. Especially, now that Vectors is level 5. If someone gets low, if you're hitting Dueling Dragons, you're for sure hitting I'm a Monster. That's all I'm saying. Diego clearing up some camps here. Should be level 4 momentarily. There it is, level 5 for the Vamana. Overall, pretty chill game so far. A lot more aggression to Feed for Speed, but nothing to completely show for it yet. Both teams just farming it up, getting what they need, making sure they have ultimates online, get those nice little power spikes going, and we should see our first items coming through in, I'd say, probably the next 2 minutes. .12 gauge could be in a little bit of trouble here. Gets hit by a simple vortex, and then doesn't get hit by the hands there. That could have been detrimental, but ends up being A-okay. I do want to keep an eye on this Surtur, though. Surtur is a god that can start off early, be kind of irritating to deal with, and then pop off if it has a chance to initiate the fights the way they want to, and use the ult aggressively rather than defensively so often, which is what we see a lot of the time. So curious to see how that Surtur ends up playing here. There's the back from, so there's part of some backs here for duo. We do see Dumorb is what Vector is looking towards here. Might picks up the Thebes. But Spear of Desolation for both Valkyrie and honestly who else here. And that's an interesting time. That's an interesting first pickup item. As Inside, not in the know about honestly who else, but that's okay. Ends up, you know, living without wasting anything. As Might hits the root there onto the Hebois. There's the Alma Monster. It does connect onto Valkyrie. Not enough to take a kill, but now 12 gauge goes in. Portals are good here by Valkyrie. And then not really much more follow-up after that. Just some poke from both teams and then a disengage. Now we're back to Farming Simulator. And Vectors and Might are getting chased here by McLovin and Valkyrie. It could be a little bit detrimental. I don't think it'll be anything too crazy. Crush comes through. Other than that, this is pretty chill. I don't really have too much to say. Just you know, some good fighting going on, then farming. Nothing too crazy going on with the builds here. Pretty standard. I am surprised to see 2 Spear of Desolations off the riff here for feed for speed. But we do see Vectors does have a full Doom Orb now. Transcendence for 12 gauge. I don't think any of us are too surprised that it's Golden Blade here for the Vimana. The 12 gauge has made the rotation to duo. That's the beads down for Foxy Grip. Oh, the dash gets caught there. There's the ultimate. They have to get the kill here. No, Inside ends up dying. 12 gauge wants it. Can 12 gauge get it? This is the question. The poison's there, but no. Foxy Grandpops says, Sonny, I gotta teach you a lesson, and puts down both the carry and the jungler of Asgard Okami. And that's a double kill for the Ishtar. Oh no, there's a dash by McLovin off the mark here, and it eats a couple tower shots. But now, Foxy Grandpops does have a lead here. Level 9, while Inside is just ticked over to level 8. Has to feel pretty good. It's not something Foxy had last game, so probably feeling pretty good about it this time. .12 gauge picks up a kill on Ganesh there. Ganesh ends up a little bit off out of order there. Now we're back to farming. We get a little bit of some excitement from a gank that you know, went a little sideways. But nothing too crazy going on. We do see Prophetic is the move here for McLovin. Let's see how fast that stack ends up coming through. As the root goes onto the minions there. Unfortunate. Oh no, Vectors could be in a lot of trouble here. There's the silent, a lot of damage put through. Gets shotgun ulted, but it doesn't matter as now 12 gauge is here. 12 gauge looking for the damage. There's the taunt. Valkyrie about half health. There's the clap. It's even better. Oh, Might puts him down. Great dash root there. Not really too sure why, honestly, who else didn't decide to ult. But now the Ishtar here out of position. Inside looking to play aggressive. Not sure if that's the best move ever, because after what happened earlier in the duo lane. But we're going to find out as 12 gauge is looking to get a little bit frisky here. And does instantly puts down Foxy Grandpop, showing him what should have happened here before. Now McLovin and honestly, who else are both here on the left-hand side. Hebois deciding to fight with the Terra is just a weird time, but gets good damage off on a 12 gauge, but a root and a crush is good here by Vectors onto McLovin. Do have to be weary of Valkyrie and where Valkyrie is. Valkyrie's clearing the green buff, looking for that invade. Ends up getting it. There's the dash in by Vectors. There's the, oh my goodness, the portal's good. The crush is better. Now the question is, it's a really good thing 12 gauge is there, because there was like an I'm the Monster hit like probably like right around here. It hit this guy real good. Unfortunately, you can't kill wards. It's just a sad time, honestly. That's a rough time, but Asgard Okami working their way back into this game, up in kills, slightly behind in gold, but doing a good job being a little bit ahead of XP or even. Overall, though, we see a Glad Shield now for this Surtur. Other than that, seeing a Doomorb on the way here for, honestly, who else is going to feel really good on this Hebo, being able to zoom around just a little bit more. It looks like Valkyrie is going possibly, I'm thinking that's Karen's Coin. There's no way that's a Tahuti second item, but maybe it is. And then, obviously, we see Charge Boomerang here for Foxy Grandpops going to that crit build. Going to be feeling pretty good. I'm just curious about what upgrade the Death Toll is going to be, if at all. If we make it that far in the game. Curious to see how that goes. Inside, not going to the crit yet. Looks like it's probably going to be an XC or a Kins. Other than that, nothing too crazy here across the board. Berserker Shield for Diego, but that's not too surprising. Oh boy, this is just not a great area if you're Vectors. 2 ults missed in that same spot. There's a lot of NFL kickers that could relate to that, to be honest. As now, oh, what a great ultimate here by McLovin. Diego is on the rotation, though. Goes into Big Baby. Honestly, who else gets put down? Diego is still chasing down the support of Feed for Speed. But now it's Double Mumble that has stepped in, looking to get some damage off. And Diego says, hey, that's cool. I'm going to dash away. Now, inside, didn't make the rotation, is going to pick up a tier 1 tower. But is there going to be a consequence for that action? There it is. There's the Mez by Foxy Grandpops. But now 12 gauge gets a taunt, saves the life of inside. But Foxy Grandpops gets away yet again. No, that poison ticks through and picks up the kill. Huge there for 12 gauge and Asgard Okami. Now it should be a Gold Fury, at least look, as honestly, who else does get the solo kill on Vector is able to dive the tower there. Didn't even ult that time. Looks like it was probably, you know, if I had to guess, hands, water spout, hands. It's probably the move. This is just an unfortunate time there. Really, if you're a carry and you're against a Hebo, it never feels good. Like if you get hit by like that, oh my god, that's what I'm talking about. Hands, water spout into an ult. It feels bad. As 12 gauge is deleted from the game. Diego goes into Big Baby form, and the shotgun by Valkyrie is off the mark here. Diego running it down, decides, hey, I'm good. I'm gonna turn around and walk the other way. Double Mumble has made the rotation via a teleport. It's going to be something to watch out here as the soul laners were a big part of last game of how it went. But instead, Diego says, hey, bye. Waves a hand and walks away. Double Mumble is walking towards the Gold Fury, though. Looks like inside is the person to watch, but instead, Double Mundle does walk away. Is still staying around this Gold Fury pit, throwing out some wards. Is able to spot out Might there, so maybe that deters them from going the Gold Fury, maybe not. Looks like maybe not is the more proper answer here, is Double Mumble, McLovin, honestly, who else, and Foxy Grandpops are working on taking away this Gold Fury as Might does go in. But is that going to be enough? It looks like not. Double Mumble is up in the air. There's the Dharmic Pillars that come down with the crash of Double Mumble. Imps everywhere. Great beads by Inside, but is it going to be enough to live? The answer is no. Foxy Grandpops on the board for that kill. And now it's a chase down with the Giannis portals. Might looking to get a little bit aggressive here. 12 gauge looking for a target. Abilities off the mark, but a great dash and a better leap in an auto to finish off the kill onto the Hebwa. Vectors misses the root, but hits the crush, and McLovin is in absolute trouble. Might picks up the kill. As Vectors is on the chase down, they are going to back up here. They should go for the Gold Fury. They were behind. They're now 3,200 gold ahead, and it's about to be more. Now will be a Gold Fury for Asgard Okami. Diego running into the team of Feed for Speed now. And he does not care. Portal into me, he says. That's your problem. As he goes into Big Baby, and Valkyrie is sent to the gray screen. Diego putting in work on the Vimana. The plan is 12 Gates gets the beads and Aegis off of Foxy Grandpops. Vectors finishes off the kill. And now there is more to be had from the looks of it. Hebwa is here. Hebwa pathing around. This could be a scary time for Asgard Okami. There it is. 12 gauge. Ulted. Goodbye. Inside could be in trouble next. Hits the ult, but is it enough to take out Double Mumble? And the answer is no. Double Mumble looked to be going in. Change the mind. Oh my goodness. Vectors with an I'm the Monster puts them down. Did Giannis' body fall after the portal afterwards? Double kill for Vectors. Diego finishes off the next kill there. 3 gone now for Feed for Speed as Asgard Okami went running it down. Now looking for a tier 2 tower in mid as well. This game went from being close to that 3,000 lead 3 minutes ago is now about 6,000. And Diego goes ahead and picks up Foxy Grandpops with the ultimate. Big Baby is really making everybody else cry about it. Diego still fighting over this red camp. For what purpose, we'll never know. Double Mumble being attacked by 12 gauge. The taunt is off the mark, sadly. And it will just be a full retreat and reset here by Asgard Okami. See the Deathbringer online for Foxy Grandpops. Again, a little bit early for me, but I get it. Mail renewal for McLovin. It is going to be a perfected Rada Tahuti for the Giannis of Valkyrie here. Other than that, pretty standard for the rest of the builds. Nothing too crazy interesting. On the side of Diego, we do see a Spectral all the way already, along with that Oni Hunter Garb. 12 gauge after picking up that Deathbringer does get a Blood Forge, looking to get kills and just, have a massive shield. Vectors gets the Rada Tahuti. Curious to see, is it going to be immediately upgraded kind of like what Valkyrie did, or is it going to be a weight type of situation? Then we have Might picking up the Spectral. Has to be feeling good here. There's a little bit of crit already on the enemy team. You got to go ahead and build the Spectral if possible. And now Inside, has the Cow, the Blood Forge, the Xe, and the Demon Blade. pretty standard ADC build there. Curious to see is Charge Boomerang or Deathbringer next in that list. Root is good by Might there. Beads are good by Valkyrie. And now we're just kind of farming away. Primal Fury is coming up soon, so it looks like Asgard Okami do want to try to pick that up. They're not going to do a switcheroo like last game where they let them take Primal and then they go take Fire. They are going to look for a pick, though, first. And McLovin, Horrific is there. Dharmic Pillars are put out, but I don't think that's going to be enough as Inside shows up and sends them back inside their base. Now it's the pull here by Asgard Okami. And this Fire Giant will fall pretty quickly to them. But now do look at Feed for Speed. They are pathing towards this fire. They are without one. Are they going to decide to do it? It's the question, though. Instead, Feed for Speed. Gotta go ahead and get some farm. Try to get that XP going. They are pretty much behind in every single rule besides carry. Inside's at a little bit of a deficit there to Foxy Grandpops. Other than that, Feed for Speed are a bit behind and try to get that farm going. But they're in a, they had a better early game than last game. It's this mid game that's really kind of done them in. We'll have to see how they're able to pan out in these Fire Giant sieges. It's going to be like last time where it goes on forever. Oh no, the Hebo ult is gone and he's going to get converged on very quickly. The Giannis ult comes through, catches 12 gauge after they picked up the Hebo, so both junglers are now gone. And now you have the Surtur ult coming through, trying to figure out where is the best place to land. And the answer is, I don't think there was a good place to land near an enemy. And now they might pay the price of it. I'm a monster is, it was there. It was there. Diego running it down still. Asgard Okami did not get a kill there, but they did push out the enemy team and should have a pretty free look at fire, but instead are going to go for the Pyromancer. And we should be seeing a Fire Giant dance probably pretty soon, if I had to guess. If not, Asgard Okami seems a little bit more comfortable this game with trying to, pick a fight in the jungle and then run it down. We'll have to see if that continues to be the strategy or if that was just kind of a one-time thing because the situation worked out. But now it's Feed for Speed that are over here by the fire. McLovin is hitting it. But right now, the split by Asgard Okami is interesting. But they do know, I think they're very aware this Hebo is not here. He will be saying, "Who bro?" But that's fine. And now Asgard Okami posturing. But look where 12 gauge is. 12 gauge was hiding around a corner waiting for someone to step up. Asgard Okami still looking at the elephant, trying to decide if it's worth taking him out or not, or you just leave the elephant in the room. McLovin stepping up. And now Asgard Okami have pretty good control over this fire pit. And we do have a split fight going on here, as Diego was fighting on the left side against everybody else that wasn't at the right side fight. Just pretty much running at the enemy team, like you kind of do as Vamana. And Erosion was picked up here. If you don't know about Erosion, basically every time while an enemy 30 units gains a shield, you gain 50% movement speed for 4 seconds. This can occur every 10 seconds. And then its auras, any shields applied on enemy gods within 30 units will be reduced by 30%. If you have not seen that, now you know. Now we're kind of back to a farming state here, it seems like. It looks like 12 gauge has pulled Gold Fury. I'm not sure if he could do it on his own. Ends up dropping it. It looks like that was not the move. Ooh, beads by the Giannis. Great dash not to get hit by the ultimate there by 12 gauge. 12 gauge had such a good dash in to start working on getting some damage off. Really great dash out there. And now the Gold Fury will go in favor of Asgard Okami for free. And we have these level 20s ticking over. Means upgraded starter items should be appearing. Besides on the sword port, supports can get there a little bit earlier. But we already see the benevolence, or sorry, the benevolence upgrade, heroism. Diego just charging through everybody. And will continue to fight on the right side while the rest of Asgard Okami is more towards mid. It's an interesting time, really. Diego getting chased at by Surtur and Hebois, but nothing comes of it. And this is very similar to game number 1. We had about a 10-minute Fire Giant dance by the teams trying to decide how they were going to approach it, who was going to get it. After a long fought battle, Asgard Okami did finally break Feed for Speed and took it. But we have the same type of idea this game where you just dance, because if you engage, then you are probably in for a bad time. And we're still dancing around. 12 gauge on the left side of the map, picking up a shield buff. Now heading back over. These Ishtar crits are going to be hurting. Dharmic Pillars comes through trying to secure the Pyromancer, but ends up being able to do so. And then you have the Giannis ult by Valkyrie looking to try to get just some type of damage off and confirm the objective, but neither of those things really happened. Diego, again, just walking up. Walking away. Alright. I'm going to have some water and sit here for a second. Oh no, Feed for Speed finally pull it. We have a Fire Giant pull. It's burning decently quick. About halfway now. The Asgard Okami is here. The teleport's good by Diego. Asgard Okami said, cool, we finally got you to pull it. Now we can engage. Vector's ults the ground in front of him and somehow lives. He got him. Oh my god, I don't know if that was leg or something. That was wild. Vectors gets the kill onto Foxy Grandpops. Now McLovin's in trouble. McLovin falls. Diego chasing down Valkyrie and Double Mumble. Pushes both of them out. And this Hebois just absolutely zooming away. And Asgard Okami opened themselves up. A huge opportunity to take this Fire Giant. Diego running at this Hebo. And now Asgard Okami picks up the Fire Giant after dancing around it for about 7 minutes. One team does walk away with the fire. And now we're running it down here. The question is, what is Asgard Okami want to do? Are they going to push left? Are they going to push mid? Are they going to push right? I don't think they really go right. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. If I had to guess, they're going to push left and then get Gold Fury at some point. Since it's going to be Oni, that's going to help with their push. We'll have to see what they decide. As the gold lead has grown to 10,000 now. Pretty massive here at below 30 minutes to have a 10,000 gold lead. But sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now it's an Oni Fury pull here by Asgard Okami. Oh, I'm a monster hits, honestly, who else, for like 95% of their HP, and they're going to walk away as Dharmic Pillars and the Swords of Light are used to bail them out. And now Surtur is walking up. Double Mumble in trouble here. And now Asgard Okami will go back and pick up the Oni Fury, which will be pretty free. Sizzlin, I can answer that for you right after I finish this cast, by the way. And now Asgard Okami pushing down the left side here. Want to get something for this Fire Giant that they finally won. They got Oni Fury that's going to help push. They're going to get the tier 2 tower in left. It looks like they're kind of thinking about going for this Phoenix in left as well. Oh, great portal there. Oh, Diego might be in trouble. Diego getting shredded. Has to go into Big Baby. It's just going to be enough. It's going to be able to walk away from the looks of it. Diego somehow lives, and Double Mumble goes up into the air. Thought about getting aggressive, decides not to, and that's a left-hand Phoenix now for Asgard Okami that has fallen through. These Oni Fury waves are going to be pushing up, but we're going to see some builds starting to finish out here. Asgard Okami, we see Vamp Shroud. This is what we started off with. Sacrificial Shroud is now picked up here on the Scylla. Like I said, it was going to be a little spicy. Got the Spear of Desolation with the Ratatouille and Polynomicon. We feel pretty good. I'm curious, Vectors, how hard were the poly autos hitting? Like, what, 600-700? Yeah, somehow Diego lives. Literally every fight. I don't understand it. Asgard Okami confirmed the Pyromancer. 2 Runic Bombs in their favor. And now is kind of ready to run it down. The leader's Cal is there again for inside. And they have an Exi, a Demon Blade, and a Deathbringer going into what's going to most likely be a Kins. Has to be feeling pretty good here. Overall, both teams, you know, doing what they can. I think for Feed for Speed, they have to find a way to get a pick and capitalize off of it. Diego has been the bane of their existence so far at 4-0-6. Just being able to go in, suck up so much damage, but just not able to finish off like this Vamana. Like, he just walks in and gets to walk out. It's just insane. And look at this, Diego, 1v3. Diego still alive. Diego just went to 80% health and is able to just walk away. Fire Giant spawns. Asgard Okami knows that they have the momentum here. They are the ones that should be able to do it. The gold lead is 11,000 gold in their favor. Fire Giant at 50%. Feed for Speed looking for a way back in, trying to find a way to do something here. And oh my goodness, Foxy Grandpops has to dash, has to use the ult, has to Aegis, and still dies anyway to this Vamana. Diego finally falls 33 minutes into the game to this Giannis, but it's going to be at the price of what? The whole entire game and the set and match at this point, as 12H picks up Double Mumble. Honestly, who else? And Valkyrie are the only ones left. They are the protectors of this base, and will it matter? I am not so sure. 4 up for Asgard Okami. Enhanced Fire Giant on their side. Tier 2 is the next thing that they're looking at here in the mid lane, and I'm not sure much else is going to be able to stop them. And now the mid Phoenix, the only bird left standing. Might goes and heads and ults. The ult by the Heat was off the mark. The aggression will be paid for in dividends, but 12 gauge is low, and now Asgard Okami says, we got all 3 birds. See you later. We'll be back in a little bit. And last game, this is pretty much the exact idea that happens, where, you know, Asgard Okami broke the base absolutely open. Feed for Speed chased them and ended up having 3 fire waves in their Titan room. Not what's going to happen this game. But Asgard Okami have taken a demanding 16,000 gold lead. And now this is going to be finishing out builds and relics and buying pots. And it's going to feel pretty good going to this next team fight, as the left side bird Feed for Speed has respawned. But They had to find a way to mount a defense. They picked up Diego in this last fight. I think they have to find a way to do it again without committing so much to him. But I'm not, I don't know if it's possible. Here comes Diego marching down mid. The groupings on the left-hand side, they're like, if Diego's here, surely the rest of the team is. No, Diego was a solo agent up until now. Vectors and 12 gauge are now in radius with him, but Might and Inside are still a ways away. But this left-hand side bird is the next thing on the menu, and it should go down with relative ease, considering Enhanced Fire Giant is still up for Asgard Okami. I'm assuming we'll be ticking away pretty soon. But Diego says, it's time. The runic bomb is dropped. The bird is gone. Dominic pillars are as well. And there goes the shotgun ult by the Giannis. And for what? The answer is nothing. 12 gauge finally falls. But at what cost to Feed for Speed? They kept everybody up, but fire minions are pouring into the base. This feels very reminiscent of Game 1. Last time they chased, 3 fire waves ended up in their Titan room and poked down their Titan to near death. And this looks to be the same idea here. 5 members are here. 5 members are chasing Asgard Okami. They finally get a second kill. Vectors turns around 1, but it's 4v3. I'm a monster hits another. That's 2. And Vectors is looking to keep them in combat. Vectors falls to Foxy Grandpops, but they had to back. This is the same exact situation from game number 1, except now Diego says, I'm tired of playing this game. I'm going to go to the Titan room by myself. I'm going to end this. I'm going to be the problem. Hey, Diego literally just walked to the base and said, it's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Insane. Asgard Okami take the set 2-0 and move on to the semifinals of the Sharrix Conference Albion Giants League Season 10. Great set by them putting that together. A little bit boring Fire Giant dances, both those games. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer on that front. But just really, really clinical there. Again, the ward coverage, absolutely insane here by Asgard Okami. And Vectors leading the top player damage yet again, 31,946. Definitely can't be mad about that. Can't be mad about that whatsoever. And just a great game. Great game by Asgard Okami there. Chat, I do want to remind you that if you like watching Albion Giants League Smite, or just Smite in general, whether it's amateur, SEC, pro, and you want your games casted, there are a couple ways to do this, because Cicelim asked in chat, and I want to be completely transparent about all of it. So here's the deal. If you want your games casted, there are 2 ways to do this. You can go into Games Cast chat and post your game IDs. The Albion Giants League production team pulls from those, and they try to cast them. Casts are generally on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. Usually Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Usually not on Friday. Here's the problem. If you play a game on Wednesday, your game is only available till Friday night. So if production can't get together, there's no way for them to get your game done, because it just doesn't exist anymore. It deletes. So if you have a game that's casted, or played during the week, and you had a spectator for it and you want your game casted, you can reach out to me. I will do my best to get it done. I will tell you that right now it's been kind of crazy. That's why the stream schedule and podcast schedule has been a little bit wonky, but I should be pretty available this week and the week after. Now, the week of May 9th through the 12th, it is going to be absolutely atrocious. I have to be up in Nashville, which is a 45-minute drive for me after work, on the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 13th. I have to go look at it. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, because I have regionals for track. So my schedule that week's going to be really, really wonky. But if you want games casted, I do I try my best to get any games sent to me casted. Very rarely can I not get them done. And if I can't get them done, I do try to send them to somebody else that might be able to do them. I also don't always cast by myself. I generally try to get another caster. I have a lot of big casts coming up, so I went ahead and just took this one myself. Like tomorrow night, I'm supposed to be casting on Albion Giants League's channel at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll be the chair 1. Spirited Book will be the chair 2. I think Freaky is on desk 1 and desk 2 is Little Blue Tiger. That's over on their channel. You can, if you click on the at Albion Giants League thing in the stream title, it'll take you to their Twitch page where you can follow over there. If you're not already following, you can do that. It helps me out if you're following. We are trying to get to 600 followers, trying to grow the community slowly but surely. There's a link to all socials for the podcast, my podcast, Up Your Experience, Battleground of the God podcast, the longest running Smite podcast, my Discord, Twitter, the whole 9. Yo, thank you for the follow, Annie. Unbeaten.
Happy joy.
But
joy.
yeah, Sicilim, the idea is that they try to get as many games casted as possible. It used to be a lot easier to do, but it's hard finding people to cast and run production that are trained for it. So in general, like they try to pick a couple each week to cast. There are 4 or 5 conferences in Albion Giants League, actually more than that. So it makes it really, really hard to do. My main focus this season that I tried to push for and what I wanted to do is I asked, could I cast literally Collegiate Smite? Like I would love to host Collegiate Smite here on this channel every single week and showcase the collegiate teams. I haven't been able to make that happen, but I think that would be super, super awesome. But yeah, you can shoot me a DM on Discord or on Twitter. Like the Asgard Okami guys shoot me a DM on Twitter usually and say, hey, is there any way you can cast this game this week? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I find a day that I can do it if possible. And if not, I send out a DM. But yeah, we try to cast as many games as possible. It's a problem of cast. It's more an issue of having someone for production. There's not many people that will do what I do where I run production myself and I cast by myself. But I enjoy doing it. It's a fun time. Hopefully that answered your question. But yeah, anytime if anybody has questions about getting games casted or any of the leagues or anything like that, I'm more than happy to help out. But I will say, like, we put out a schedule every week, and by we I mean Majin puts out a schedule every week and looks for available times of casters and production, and we do try to get as many games casted as possible. So I think this week there was originally like 4 or 5 time slots. It had to be taken down to like 1 due to some IRL stuff for somebody else. So that means one set will get casted this week. As far as the finals, from my understanding, every finals match will be casted as long as they have a spectator. As long as they have a spectator, every finals match should be casted, I think. I hope. I don't see why they wouldn't. Like it comes down to what day do they play on, but I think many of us would do our best to get those games casted if it was like something where they played on a Monday. Like I know I would sign up as long as it's not during that week where I'm in Nashville for track regionals. I would cast every day that week if I had to get the finals casted. My wife might not be happy about that. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I would cast 5 days in a row if I had to get all the games casted. I would definitely help out with that. But I also, like, I'm a big fan. Like, I love casting. I think it's fun. That's why I did So You Think You Can Cast and all that kind of stuff. I just think it's a blast. But yeah, chat, hope you enjoyed. Asgard Okami, shout outs